We all love the sound of money, and a $1,500 sign-on bonus sounds even better. That's right, Bellisio Foods of Jackson is offering a $1,500 sign-on bonus to new employees. Receive an extra $100 your first 6 weeks, then $400 after day 90, and $500 after day 180. Don't wait. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers today. That's BellisioFoods.com/careers. Come work for a company who truly values their employees. Come work for Bellisio Foods.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the morning show right here on Main Street TV, where we have our friends from the Ohio State Highway Patrol back. You were here not too long ago.
Yes, we were.
And welcome.
Thank you.
We have a newbie here. We've been talking about TV and stuff off the air, so we're a little bit distracted. But no, we're going to be talking about some really cool things that you guys have coming up and an open house.
Yes. First time it's been done around here, I think. First time we've opened up the facility for the community to come see what we do. So it's pretty exciting.
So amazing. Well, first off, since you're a newbie, introduce yourself, if you will.
I'm Trooper Tawonna Hutton. Not necessarily new, so I have 21 years on the patrol.
Newbie to here.
New to TV.
Yes.
Yes.
Very good. And since, in case they missed you the last time.
So I'm Lieutenant Aaron Morgan. I've been at the post since September, but I've known Tawonna since I first started. When I came to Chillicothe, her and I worked together.
Yes.
She kind of showed me the
really?
ropes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're like the same size, so we like share the same car. Didn't have to move the seat.
It was perfect. She never knew when I took her car.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
I love that. Yes, that is a good thing. Hey, you find friendship in
Find a
weird
buddy.
ways,
Oh,
right?
absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
We are definitely friends outside of work as well.
Well, very good. And so I think a lot of people don't you see the Highway Patrol and you think, okay, well, we have a station here and whatever. But the Jackson Post is beautiful and very, very nice. And so you guys are actually hosting this open house for many different reasons.
Right.
And I think it's so amazing.
Yeah, so the things that people don't know about us are the different things that we get to do within the state of Ohio. So we have SWAT teams, we have motorcycle units, we have our commercial guys who take care of the federal regulations for semis, dogs. I don't know if I mentioned dogs. We have dog handlers.
Aviation section.
We have an aviation
that's right,
section.
yeah.
We have
Yes.
helicopters and planes. If you guys if anybody that was in town about a month ago, they heard those helicopters hovering over
Early in the morning.
Early in the morning.
Oh.
So that was
What do we dub that? What was that guy's name?
Kenneth Sims Day.
Kenneth
Yes.
Sims Day,
Yes, the
where
school got
everyone got out of
Yeah.
school and off work
Every
that day.
Friday,
Thank you,
every Friday
buddy.
the 13th in Jackson.
It was,
Friday,
oh
Kenneth
yeah,
Sims
every
Day.
Friday
Yes.
the 13th in Jackson is now Kenneth Sims Day. Anyway.
So that was a scary. I mean, we didn't know what to expect, and
No.
everything turned out fine.
we shouldn't make fun of it,
no.
but it was.
But it worked. Everything worked out in our aviation section. And I don't know if they've posted it online, but I watched the video again over the weekend to where those guys are amazing. He was looking at that heat source from the sky, and he was probably from here. He was probably 20 yards from the deputy, and they didn't know the other was there.
Oh.
And because it was such thick woods, but they're by the hospital.
But that could be a really
It can be
dangerous
really
situation.
dangerous. Yes. Fortunately, in this situation, nothing happened. We probably can't talk much more about it because it's still in the court system.
Absolutely.
But the work that our aviation did and was able to talk to the sheriff's department and the PD, we were able to communicate together.
Oh, that's awesome.
There was a bunch of us. There was the troopers, deputies, and police officers in groups that were had this fugitive surrounded, but they didn't know they had him surrounded because they couldn't see him. It was scary.
Good technology.
It was great tech. Yes, the technology is unbelievable.
I guess so. And see, then they're gonna find you.
That's right. It's hard to stay.
Don't hide in the woods. They're gonna find you.
Either the radio or the helicopter is going to get you.
Unless you're really cold.
That would have been the
Right.
only way because he was hot. He had taken all of his clothes off and he was in shorts.
Sure.
And they could still see him from the sky.
Well, it's kind of like don't run like 2 miles through the woods and not think you're going to be hot and
Yeah.
seen. But no, and that's just one, like for our area is a big situation, but one situation that they deal with every single day.
Mhm.
So that is really, really cool. So, okay, this open house is June 24th, which is what?
This Friday.
Friday. Okay.
This Friday, yeah, from noon to 5. And She set it all up. I'll let her tell you more about it.
Good for you. That's so awesome.
Yeah, so I know we are definitely having the commercial units are going to be down. We're going to have our special response team. We're going to have at least a canine handler there as well. So just stop by. Even if you are not interested in becoming a trooper, just stop by. If you want to see the post, if you just want to chat with us.
I think that's important.
Yes, just stop in because we don't open the post up like this very often.
Sure.
So take advantage of the opportunity. Stop by, say hi to us, ask us about the patrol, ask us about becoming a trooper.
Sure, absolutely. If you can't stand them, tell them that. If you love them, to thank them for
It's okay.
what they're doing.
It's
That's
okay.
They have thick skin. So no, I think so. We had some friends from Holzer in the other day, and we were talking about all of the different facets within healthcare. Like you think of healthcare, and you think of doctors and nurses, and that's it. And so I look at that kind of the same way with what you all do is. They had an open house and they were talking about, well, yeah, we have people that clean places and we have, support staff and we have marketing and we have all of these different areas within besides doctors and nurses. So you have that within the Highway Patrol, and this is a perfect opportunity to get to know about all that stuff.
Yeah, people think that state troopers just write speeding tickets all day long, and that's
pretty much. You're just evil trolls.
We're just
that sit
really
out
good
and
at that.
chase us down.
That's the only place. That's our most important part is the traffic safety. But and we have computer crimes people that deal with computer crimes. Maybe we stopped somebody on and found out they were making fake identities with laptops. We have people that can get into there. Our crash reconstruction unit, maybe they can download your phone to find out if you were texting or what you were doing right at the time of the fatal crash. We also have the prisons, the state prisons. We have investigators in Jackson that investigate crimes within the prison system, whether it be an inmate or maybe something fishy's going on. We have investigators for that as well.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that we have troopers that work in the prisons, but all of the prisons have at least one trooper assigned to them.
Really?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
See, you learn something new every day.
And one thing we've been doing really, so knock on wood, we haven't been investigating the same amount of crashes. We've been investigating fewer crashes. And I know it's in part to what the troopers are doing on the roads here in Jackson, Benton County.
I think you're right.
I mean, these guys are just, first of all, they're working their butts off, but
yes.
they're visible
big
all the
presence
time.
out there now.
Yes.
Big.
Which is it's great for everybody in the community. Everybody, like you said, state troopers only write speeding tickets. Yeah. If you see a state trooper, you're gonna think about what you're doing for at least for that period of time until you get to where you're going. Then maybe forget about it when you get back on the road. But
for the 30 seconds after you realize maybe they are not going to pull you
they're
over.
not coming. I didn't see brake lights.
Is he coming? Is he coming?
Hey, I do that in my patrol car all the time. When I pass one, I'm like, I hope he doesn't come.
I hope he doesn't come get me.
Yeah, natural reaction.
So, and we're also what we'll be able to do is we're offering more ride-alongs now, more opportunities for people to come in and ride along. If you show an interest in law enforcement, that's something we can talk about. Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
So here's the problem with the ride-along thing. Tell us the age range.
So 20 to 20.
So I was like, Jen, you and me should do this, and then he said the age range.
20 to 34.
That you could have just gone all day and not said that.
We were just talking about it over there. Hey, there's got to be rules, right?
No, because we would be so much fun to take on a ride along.
And it is fun.
Yeah,
it is fun. It is a great opportunity for young people that they kind of have an inkling in the back of their head that they want to be a police officer or a state trooper, and then they come ride with us. We can show them what we actually do. It's just a great opportunity that we're offering.
Well, I think sometimes people get something in their head of what something is, and maybe they'll ride along and it's like way cooler or way less cool. Sure, I don't know than what they thought. But this is a perfect opportunity to see what you all do in actuality and not like what you think it may or may
or
not
what you
be.
see on television.
So let's talk about that for a minute. So would that be for somebody that's thinking about going to the academy or just anyone in general?
So anyone that's thinking about a career in law enforcement is eligible to do it.
Okay.
Yes.
And how do you go about doing that?
Just come in. So I'll do a brief conversation. I'll have a brief conversation with you to find out what your goals are, where you are with your academics. If you're going to college, I just need to learn a little bit about you.
Make sure you don't have any, felony warrants or
Right.
anything.
Yeah. If
Don't do that if you're.
so it'll just be a conversation. If you're showing a genuine interest in a career in with Highway Patrol, it'll just be a conversation with me just for the Jackson Post. Now, if you live somewhere else, you got to go to their post. But just for the Jackson Post, come in and talk to me, and we'll get you set up.
Now, is there a post in every county?
No,
Okay.
there's not. There are 55 posts.
55. Okay.
For the Jackson Troopers, we handle Vinton and Jackson County.
Okay.
For the Portsmouth Post handles Portsmouth and Pike County. So some of the smaller communities, their post is just in the county adjacent to them.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're covering. Wow, that's a lot of areas.
It is a lot.
Holy moly.
Yeah. But we're doing it. We've been doing it this way for a long time at the Jackson Post, and right
good
now
for
we're just hitting on all cylinders. It's pretty neat.
That is cool. And when you were here the last time, we were talking about the challenges that COVID placed within even the Highway Patrol, and it was like, at first, and you're afraid to pull people over. To be quite honest with you,
Sure.
You're not sure exactly what's going on, and this thing is terrifying and whatever. So. Even you all had your challenges with that, and I'm sure with staffing and all of that too, because people get sick and all of that. So even with law enforcement, something that you guys think that you're supermen and women, and that it's not going to affect you, and it totally does.
It did, yeah, and we're still getting over. I mean, the COVID virus, it hasn't gone away. I mean, it's not something that just stopped overnight. We're still dealing with it, and we still have illnesses within the division.
Sure.
But yeah, the traffic, the speed went way up when we weren't as proactive as we had been in the years past.
Right.
So we're dealing with that. We're still dealing with some after effects of that. The citations that we're writing for 100 mile an hour or plus are higher than ever before right now, and they're still doing that.
Like, who's driving down the road at
Who can
100 miles an
afford
hour? Right.
$5 a gallon
Like,
gas.
do you not understand that the faster you go, the less gas mileage you get? Like, come on. I'm like driving 25 down the highway.
So yeah,
pushing with my leg.
Flintstone.
Yeah.
Who maybe you can't answer this, but like, who are the people that are driving 100 miles an hour?
Yeah, let's
like,
talk
are
about
they doing that because they want to see how fast their car can go, or
So
are they
the
just
last-
not paying attention?
Well, probably a combination of both. Maybe not seeing how fast they know how fast their cars can go. The last one I had, I was on midnights, and I was sitting in the middle of the road between two sets of lanes, and the guy passed me, and my car rocked. Like, I didn't even see him coming. I just heard him, and then I hit my radar because he's going really fast, and he said he didn't even see me. It's the middle of the night, and I'm sitting in the middle of the road, and he was just going that fast. Young kid, he took his licks, but
Why not?
It's
fun.
reaction,
Fast, I
but the
guess.
reaction time at that speed is not possible to survive most of the time.
And I was thinking about that just in the stretch, and I'm not trying to give anyone ideas because I like, being able to drive 70 miles an hour to Chillicothe. But no, I was thinking about that. I was driving by myself to Columbus the other day, and I was just even thinking about that stretch, from Richmonddale to Chillicothe that's 70 miles an hour. And I was thinking, man, all these hills and stuff, somebody, pulls out in front of you or whatever, that 10 miles an hour makes I feel like, to me, it feels like it would make a huge difference.
It is a huge difference. And she sets out, she works on 35 a lot. So she deals with,
Oh,
she's a lot
God.
more than
I
do.
can't even imagine. It's probably just like
And I like working
fish
out
in a
there,
barrel.
So it is, and people are coming from all over the place. So a lot of people just aren't paying attention.
I think
that
that's
the
what the
speed
main
limit
thing is.
changes because on both ends of the county, you have 4 signs as you enter the county each direction that are telling you the speed limit has dropped or reduced to 60 miles an hour, and people just don't see it because they're playing with their radio or on their phone or whatever they're doing.
Correct.
So I stop a lot of cars out there for going
Well,
excessively
and
fast.
and I would say that the majority of folks that you all pull over, it's not malicious what they're doing. They're just not paying attention.
Sure.
But that doesn't make it okay because you're not paying attention,
Right.
and you need to be, you shouldn't be distracted, which is what we were talking about
Right.
the last time you were in here.
And that's a cognitive distraction. Like, not thinking about driving is a distraction.
But we've all done it.
Sure.
How did I get here? I don't even remember driving here.
Yeah.
Yes.
There
And
has to
that's-
be. Is there like a term for that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But we've all done it, right?
Right.
Like
Oh,
you-
yeah.
You end up at the grocery store and you're like, I don't even remember driving.
Yeah, you
here.
just go into
Especially,
in
you
the
do
remote
something the
mode
same
and-
day.
Yeah. like in a trance or something.
Yes.
And we've been working with ODOT a lot because of where the speed changes from 70 to 60 on either end of Jackson County.
Yeah.
We've been working with ODOT to get more signage up.
That would be good.
And then maybe paint the lane a little different to where it looks like the stripes are going by you faster because you haven't slowed down to 60 yet.
Okay.
But you can put speed limit signs up every quarter mile and people aren't going to pay attention to them a lot.
Well, and here's what I noticed. So Jamie and I were driving back. We worked a festival weekend up in Newark. And when we were driving back, it's obviously travel season. And so we're driving back, from Chillicothe, and we're going the speed limit.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like out of state, out of state, out of state.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like 10 in a row were from out of state, and they're just zooming by you. And I think that it's because other states have different speed limits, different rules, things like that. And number one, and number two, they're traveling, trying to get where they're going faster. But I was amazed how many out of state license plates zoomed past us.
And when you talk to people from Michigan that live kind of close, they know that as soon as you get into Ohio, you got to
better slow down.
Yeah,
Yes.
you better slow down. Yeah.
When I was growing up, I used to show horses. I showed a lot in Winfield, West Virginia, and that was one of the discussions. And I would never say anything, but they'd be like, "All right, now when you get to Jackson County, you better slow down because you're gonna get it."
Yeah.
But no, Ohio laws, and I think that you guys do a phenomenal job just because you are out and paying attention. I mean, there's other states where you drive through and you never see a highway patrolman.
Oh, yeah.
West Virginia is pretty much one of them.
Right.
So people are I think it's just a free for all.
Yes.
And now that you're talking about the out of state drivers, and we're all from Ohio, so we're driving the same roads. Right now, we're in the 100 deadliest days of the year.
Yes.
From summer up to Labor Day.
Because of traveling, and I mean, there's just more people on the road, right?
And you know something we don't think about, and I probably think about it more. She's going to start thinking about it soon. Is teen drivers. My son will be 17 here in a couple weeks, and he's been
God
driving.
bless you.
Scary.
And it's scary.
Scary.
We trust them. You got to trust your kids. Like
Sure.
they got to make some mistakes, but don't make that mistake that the last mistake you ever make be something that you're doing while you're driving.
Sure.
My son's pretty good about it, but us being out there, and we're not picking on kids, but I'd rather you be mad at me than have to call you to say, hey, your son or daughter was going too fast and was wearing their seatbelt.
Never want that.
Yeah.
No.
So 27% of the crashes happen within this 100 days of the year.
Really?
Just because of the volume and the kids out of school thinking, it's break time, let's be crazy. You got to go to school next year, man. You got to finish. You got to get your diploma.
I know. You got to grow up.
Yeah.
Like we want you
Gotta
around
make it
to
there.
grow up and live a long life. I was talking about back when I was doing sales for the TV. I remember talking to some body shop people, and I was like, "Oh, I'll bet winter is just crazy because you get all these people crashing in the snow." And they're like, "Oh no." So winter is just you get a fender bender here or there because people slide off into a guardrail or something. Summer is people are going way too fast, and it never dawned on me that would be a thing. So we just need to slow down a bit.
And something else, since you're talking about weather, being hot like it is now, all the oils and the greases and stuff from the cars get on the road, and as soon as it rains, that grease and stuff underneath your tires creates for slick conditions.
Okay.
That's something that I've talked to a bunch of kids about, young adults. That grease and stuff, as soon as that water hits the road,
Never thought about that.
it creates a little barrier between your tires and the road, and that's all it takes to slide off or go too fast around a turn or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once again, just
Slow down.
Yes. But as
Doesn't
soon
that
as the
sound
weather
sweet?
breaks, everybody starts driving faster, it seems like. First nice sunny day.
I
and
get to see the sun.
Yes.
I'm going to drive really fast. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
it
They
just
do.
seems like you're in a good mood and
Yes.
you're going to drive fast.
Absolutely.
And another thing we're fortunate about, especially in Vinton County, is those county or those roads with all for the scenery, and they're trying to get Tar Hollow or they're trying to get the Hocking Hills. Motorcycles are out more right now.
Okay, yes.
That's something that we've been pushing. We've been talking to motorcyclists. And it's, I can't say always it's not the motorcycle's fault, but remember to look twice when pulling out of somewhere so you don't pull in front of a motorcycle.
Well, and that's the thing, and you see the little stickers on people's cars and stuff, and I'm glad that they're there because it's like, look for motorcycles because, we're all trained, not physically per se, but just mentally, I think, to look for cars, right?
Mhm.
So you pull out and you look for this ginormous thing coming at you, and a lot of times you don't see a motorcycle, and so especially during these summer months, please, like you said, look twice and make sure that you are looking for those smaller vehicles.
Yes, they're easy to miss because they may blend with something in the background, or even your pillars can block them for just that second if you're just taking a quick glance over. So
Sure, and and unfortunately, the motorcycle is probably going to lose a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's
Not
not a winning battle most of the time.
No.
But taking that extra half second though to look again may save that man or woman's life that's on that motorcycle.
Absolutely, and you're exactly right. But what a fun thing that is to jump on your motorcycle and ride through Hocking Hills, or go like with the brewery. We just had a couple come, and they sent Jamie and I a message and just said, "Hey, just want to tell you we have a wonderful time at your brewery," and we're like, "Oh, cool!" And they'd driven all the way from Cincinnati on their Harley.
Really,
it was just their ride for the day,
really
and I thought, wow, that's.
Yeah.
But it was like this weekend, so it was like 75 degrees.
Oh,
it would have just been
beautiful.
perfect
Yes,
and whatever. But a lot of people go out on these drives like that, so I think that's kind of the point of having those things.
Yeah.
So, can we talk for 1 second? I want to throw you under the bus here a little bit. Golf carts.
Yes.
Because. And this is just something James is like, oh my God, she's gonna get us in trouble. No, I've had several people say stuff to me. You see people driving golf carts in town. Is that legal? If so, what are the things that you need to do? Because that just seems kind of terrifying to me as well, to drive a golf cart around.
So this is pretty new. It's within the last probably 5 years. It started happening right before COVID virus hit.
Okay.
If you have a golf cart, we don't do any inspections on golf carts or anything like that. The sheriff's department handles all that. So
Okay.
if we see one out, and don't quote me because I don't have my book with me. We had cheat sheets everywhere, but I think they can't be outside of a town that's faster than 25, a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. So they have to be in town.
So riding your golf cart down the highway is probably
Beaver
not
bike in a golf cart's not good. No, but
Okay.
they're registered. They have blinkers, headlights, brake lights, and all that, and they have everything that
Seatbelts.
a regular cart. I don't know that I've seen. I've never stopped the golf cart, so
I
don't-
have a golf cart. It has seatbelts, but
Yeah, I think that they. I thought
Oh, yeah,
that
I've
they
ridden
had
on
to
her
have-
golf cart.
yes. Oh yeah, you did. I forgot.
But yeah, so we don't do any of those inspections. That's the sheriff's department.
Okay.
Sheriff Fraser's office would deal with that.
So there are things to do to your golf cart to make it legal to ride within the town.
Right, and I'm pretty sure, I'm like 99% sure it has to be under a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit is where you're driving it.
Okay. All right. We'll have to ask Sheriff. He was just here the other day.
Was he?
Could have put him
Yeah,
on
we've
the-
had people
Put him
pull
on
in
the
the
spot.
post to see if we can inspect them or check them, but yeah, we don't do that there.
Okay. All right. But head to your sheriff's office and ask them about that then. So, but it's just kind of weird when you're driving behind a golf cart through town.
Right.
If you've never pulled over a golf cart, what is the weirdest vehicle that you have pulled over?
Oh, good
So-
question.
So I was in Chillicothe years ago, and this is one of my favorite stories. I was.
He's like, how do I tell
I
this?
think
without
I
getting
know what
myself
you're
in
going to
trouble?
say.
So it was in like an underpass, and I was going under a bridge, and the other vehicle was coming across, and I didn't see him. He saw me at the last second, and he crashes his bicycle right in front of me, and he had 24 donuts with him, and he had too much alcohol to drink, so.
Well, by golly, he was going to try to fix that with a donut.
So it ended up the guy was pretty impaired. He didn't want to be arrested, so it ended up being like a physical altercation. So, and it was the train was going by while I'm trying to talk to him. So, the joke was that I stopped him to take his donuts from him, but I didn't take any of his donuts. But that's probably the one. We stop side by side and stuff like that on the people that are driving crazy on the county roads every once in a while. But with that, is that the best?
So did he or did he not get to take? Did you take him with you? Like, did he
Yes.
get to take the donuts
No.
with him? What did
He
you
had-
do with them?
I think we threw him away because he had to go to jail.
Aw, poor guy.
He was really intoxicated. Yeah.
Yeah, and a bicycle is still a motor or is still a vehicle.
Yeah, you could be
Correct,
arrested.
yes.
Back then, now I don't think you can be arrested for an OVI on a bicycle because it doesn't have a motor on it. But
there are motorized bicycles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
so-
are.
yeah.
For sure. Those are cool, by the way.
Yeah. But I don't know who would be drinking and riding a bicycle anyway. Like to be impaired, I don't know.
Like,
That'd make you sick, I think.
I would think so. That's way too much work.
Yes,
Right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
For
Call
sure.
an Uber.
Yeah. Ride your horse home. At
Yeah.
least they can just go in the right direction.
But there has been a video recently of that horse that the guy was passed out on a horse in a buggy that was drunk. Did you see that one?
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's
I did not.
horrible.
The
see
horse
that.
was taking him home, and he was drunk.
That's
too.
like Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. My horse is smarter than your
Yeah.
Tesla. Ooh, we could have a little we could do a little video about that. Yeah. Who gets who home fastest?
Right.
Yes.
But no. All right, so you have to tell your story then. There has to be a story.
Honestly, I don't have any odd vehicles that I've ever stopped. No, nothing too exciting. Not like his, but I knew that's what he was going to say. I remember that story.
That's when we worked
we
together.
worked together,
in
yes.
Chillicothe, yes. But Tawanna's great. She's led the district in seatbelt enforcement a couple times throughout the years. She
Good
can
for
see
you.
those stuff better than most, but I can't see it as good as she can. And if you're not driving on the speed limit exactly, and you're not wearing your seatbelt,
You're going to
telling you,
get
there are
it.
men and women like her that are going to stop you and write you. And it's not to pick on somebody. We've handled so many fatal crashes where if they'd have had their seatbelt on, they would have made it through that crash.
Yes.
And that has to be so frustrating for you. I understand that people are, they think, well, it's my right and I'm not hurting anyone if I'm not wearing my seatbelt and all of that. And you hear all of those rationales, I guess. But, from your perspective, when you see one crash where
Mm-hmm.
That would be so frustrating.
It is very frustrating. So, because I've been to multiple of those crashes over the years between all the places I've worked. So, to have to tell somebody that, you've lost a loved one, but they could have still been here had they had their seatbelt on.
Sure.
And there's not just the effects that happens to that person's family. All the medics and firefighters that showed up to help at that scene, and then all of us that show up, and
That you have to see
right,
it,
And we have
on
to,
a daily
we have
basis.
to take that stuff home. The medics and the firefighters have to take that home, and that's a big burden to carry around.
It is.
Mentally.
Wow.
So
Yeah. And so think about that too. Think about all those folks that have to, that are dealing with that situation mentally and physically. I feel like there's a hair.
I don't see
I'm having an issue.
So yeah, and
I
it's
swear
such-
I'm not drunk.
It's such an
Should've
easy
brought
thing.
donuts.
That's right. I wouldn't have taken them. But it's such an easy thing to do to just buckle up.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Well, and the thing is, the good thing is cars today will drive you absolutely
yeah.
insane. Like, I just want to take my car and punch it if you're just, going to the end of the driveway or something.
it-
You're like, shut up! I'm going to the mailbox. Like, God.
I'm not going anywhere.
But no. All right. So let's get back to the open house and let's talk about who is, invited and what people can expect to see when they're there.
Yeah, so, and pretty much anybody's invited.
Okay.
So like we were saying earlier, if you just want to stop in and chat with us, if you're interested in a career with the Highway Patrol, we especially would love to have you. So anyone between the age of 20 and 34 can enter our academy. But yeah, so
I guess that's why James and I are out from the ride.
I know. I thought we were gonna have a new job opportunity, and then I
Yeah,
heard him
right.
say that. I was like, oh.
But you know what? I do have the opportunity to take the media on a ride along too.
Oh,
So,
James, we're
Right
in.
here.
Yep. I mean, to be honest, I think we're both more interested in meeting the dog.
Well, and if you bring your kids out this week on Friday, the kids can walk around our SWAT vehicle. We'll have a SWAT vehicle there.
That's
It'll
cool.
be
yeah,
pretty
we're
neat.
not sure which ones we're bringing, but hopefully something big.
I'll bet they'll even let you push the siren
Oh,
button or
yes.
something.
Oh, yeah.
I want to do that.
Kids love that.
That's so fun.
But it'll be, for anybody that wants to come out, just come out and hang out for a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll have some refreshments there. Water, no beer. But we'll have refreshments there, and it should be a good time. Just something new, something different. Never
Yeah,
tried
and
it
I think
before.
that's just really, really neat that you all are opening up the post to people. And again, there's dispatchers. There's all there's a million different things within the Highway Patrol that you don't necessarily aren't out on the roads patrolling and that kind of thing that you can still be involved.
Yes, so our electronics technicians will be there too. The guys that put our cars together, that puts the lights and keeps our radio systems working. He's
So like a
he'll be there.
mechanical,
Kind of, but the technology side of the mechanical
Okay.
field. So he'll
See?
be out there, and he's a talker too. So he'll talk to you about it.
Good. We like talkers.
So another thing that that we can really if you're interested in the job, is we can tell you everything that's going to happen in the academy. You're going to get paid to go to this academy. You're going to get fed 3 times a day to go to the academy. You're going to sleep there. You don't have to pay for room and board. So when we did the event a couple weeks ago, when we had our signing day, I had the opportunity to talk about the academy, and I kept talking about the food. How I was in the Navy for 7 years, so the food that we ate on those ships wasn't bad, but I never complained about it because I was hungry. The food these guys get at the academy is top notch.
Oh, really?
I think so.
I was there last week for in-service, and the food was way better than when I went to the academy.
I'm telling you,
I was
nobody
impressed.
believes me. But the family's got a kick out of the fact that I kept talking about the food, and your whole day's based rotates around your meals. So you
Sure.
have a couple hours class, then you eat. A couple hours class, and you eat. A couple hours class, and you go to bed. So your whole day's based around food, and
Love that.
I like eating. So.
Yeah, me too. I know. Unfortunately, a little bit too much. So the academy is where?
It's on 17th Avenue in Columbus. It's
So
the fairgrounds,
by the
state fairgrounds. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make
So
sure.
I don't remember what year that building got started, but
not
we've been
sure.
putting cadets and basic police officers through that academy for a long time.
I mean, ever since I can remember,
Yeah.
since I was a little kid.
And our
Yeah.
training, with some of the best training in the country. We have people that travel around the country, picking stuff up from different places and bringing it back to Columbus and giving our cadets all that information and sending them out.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, it is really good training, and a lot of people ask. They do ask that all the time. Where is your academy? Because they think that it's a local academy, like for a local police department, and that is not us. We have our own academy for the Ohio State Highway Patrol.
Okay. But that's great because it's in Columbus, so it's centralized.
Mhm.
Like
Yes.
for, coming from up north,
Yeah.
coming from down here, it's an hour and a half, regardless of pretty much where you
Right.
are. So, okay. Here's a question for you. So the Highway Patrol needs employees,
Mhm.
needs troopers. So you go to the academy and you make it through, and then what happens to you?
So when you get accepted, you report to the academy, and you have a 6-month training time at the academy.
Okay, so it's 6 months.
6 months there. You're getting paid the whole time. You're getting fed. You're getting
Room
get
Good
board.
meals.
good
Room
meals.
and
You
board.
come home. You come home on the weekends, and you come back on Monday morning.
Oh, okay.
After that
So you're not
6
stuck
months,
there.
No. After that 6 months is up, you get assigned a training officer. So now we have 3 different training officers. One on each shift will train you throughout your next 3 months. 60 days.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
So, but do you get to choose like where you go? Are you assigned to places? How does that work?
So yes. So the probably 2 classes ago, I think we graduated 26, and 24 of those 26 went back within 50 miles of where they lived.
That's convenient.
Yes. So we can drive patrol cars now. There's a 50-mile air radius. I live in Kingston, but I come to work in Jackson every day.
Okay.
Because it's within 50 air miles of your reported location.
Gotcha.
So most people are getting home or close to home right out of the academy. And years ago, it wasn't that way. You had to score high in the class to get your pick. And now pretty much we're sending everybody close to home or as close as they can to
That's
home.
the goal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems
I mean,
like everyone
you
will be
want to work in
happier.
your community. So.
Yeah, and you know people, and that's like you said. I think when you were here the last time, it's kind of convenient to know the people within the community as well.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Those contacts.
And you want to know you're making a difference in your community.
Sure.
So then you have 3 months with that training officer, and then
Okay.
once you've completed that 3 months, you're on your own. And a new police officer doing that job after 3 months, that it's going to be they're going to see different things every day that they never could have imagined. So
Sure.
it's basically a little over a year of just learning the job over and over every day, just learning. So your first year is pretty much training, basically.
I would think, though, that being a highway patrolman or woman would be, you would never get bored because every day is completely different.
Oh, yes, definitely. Absolutely. Always different.
But you get out every day but you're also risking your lives every day as well. So thank you for that.
Sure.
But that's got to be scary, too, a little bit.
For the most part, I mean, it can be scary, but for the most part, it's fun. It's fun meeting people, fun meeting different people from different places. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And, go ahead.
Tawonna, she works 35, and you talk about people from out of state. She's met so many famous people
I have.
over the years.
Really?
I pull famous people over on 35 all the time.
Do you really?
Yes.
So who was the last guy? Tell her about the last guy.
The last guy, I can't even remember his name. Joel Patrick, I think.
Must
from
not have been
Dayton.
that famous.
No, he was like the new wave famous, you know, the
Yeah.
TikTok famous guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yes, but I've pulled over Elle King. I gave her a speeding ticket a few years ago. On
Oops.
35.
Sorry, Elle.
And then she immediately posted it on Instagram. So, and my kids were so excited. Like, I went back to my car. When I walked up to the cruiser, I was like, oh my gosh, I know who this is. And so I told her, I was like, I stopped you for the speed. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I am going to have to issue a citation for that. And she's like, I completely understand. So I go back to the car and I text my daughter. I'm like, I have Elle King on a traffic stop. She's like, get pictures. I'm like, I'm not allowed. But yeah,
funny.
so my daughter, a few minutes after the traffic stop, texts me and says, Mom, she's posted you on Instagram. Like, and it wasn't me. She just took like a picture of herself with my cruiser in the background. Yeah, but she's probably the coolest one though.
The last guy was the same way. He was, you know, nothing bad's happening. I'm just getting a speeding ticket. I deserved it. She knows who I am. She follows me on Instagram or whatever it was. And he was posting it right from the side of the road. It was pretty neat.
That is so funny.
But it doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, so there's
No, you still have to follow the law, right?
Yes. So you see the trend. If I pull you over, you get a ticket. Doesn't matter who you are.
I'll remember. I'm looking out for her. No, it was so funny. This is a true story too. And I don't remember if I told you this or not, but when we had courtside down in Gallipolis, we had there's a bunch of ex-Ohio State players that have like a foundation where they help underprivileged kids and stuff like that. So they were coming down for like an event. But they also work with Icky Woods and some of the like Bengals players or whatever. And so he showed up. Icky Woods shows up at the event. He's like, God. He's like, I'm sorry I'm late. I got pulled over in, I think it was Jackson County. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, man, he said, I told him I was Icky Woods and I was late for a thing. And he was like, they didn't really care. And I was like, well, yeah.
That's how they do it.
That's kind of like, just don't speed through Jackson
That's
County
right.
or Ohio in general, and you don't have to worry about that. But it was so funny because I'm like, oh, yep, from there.
Yeah. I've heard that before.
Oh, yeah, it's not the first time. But that's great because that means that you guys are doing your job.
Yes.
And the whole fact of the matter is, you can argue or you can get mad or whatever, but the whole fact is, don't speed, and then you don't have to. You're wrong.
Yeah. And I think we talked about it a lot the last time was distracted, right? Driving distracted.
Yeah.
It's so easy to do, but it's so much easier not to do that. I think it's so much easier just to do the right thing when you're driving. Put everything down and
like
just drive.
drive.
Right. How hard is that? So I bought my son a 6-speed, so he has to shift through the gears, so he's not paying attention to anything but having to shift.
Good thinking.
So.
But I blame the car companies a little bit for this because they're putting basically computer systems as your radio is like some kind of you need to have a NASA degree or something to like run these things, and it's just very easy to get distracted when you're trying to get within the bowels of your radio to change your flipping temperature that your car is or something. Yeah. So they're getting a little bit. What happened to like a button or a slide thing?
Just
that you
turn the knob and be done.
Like what happened to that?
It doesn't happen anymore, does it?
But no, it is, but that is distracted driving. Same as cell phones, texting, all of those things.
Yes.
And we didn't talk about it a lot, but drinking and driving right now, being impaired, OVI, we're dealing with more marijuana impaired drivers and drug impaired drivers than ever before. Because it's just so prevalent. We're getting better as far as our drug recognition experts. We send people to schools to be able to tell if he's taking marijuana, if he's taking heroin or meth, and they can. Based on and there's a lot that goes into it. They're way smarter than me. They're almost doctors. They state troopers to be able to analyze what these people are going through. But
wow,
that's something that we were kind of behind on that across the country. California was doing it years before we started it.
Okay.
But we're getting back in the game, or getting into the game, I guess, a lot more than ever before.
Well, that has to be. And this is something we could talk about on a different day because I know you guys are busy, and that's not why you're here to talk about, but. With the legalization of marijuana and some of the things like that, I mean, if you have a marijuana card, I guess, how does that work? Are you not allowed to be out driving? Like, I don't know.
So if you're
how does that work?
If you're 21, you have an alcohol card, right?
Yeah.
You can go buy alcohol at 21.
Sure.
Sure. But you can't drive impaired at 21.
Okay.
You can be impaired on marijuana. It doesn't mean it's illegal for you to be having a marijuana.
Okay.
But you can be impaired on it. As long as you're not driving impaired, as long as there's nothing about your body that's impairing your ability to drive.
Okay.
Because it's not illegal to have a beer and drive. It's
No.
illegal to be impaired and drive.
Right.
That's the huge difference.
Is there like a marijuana equivalent to like the blood alcohol level with
Oh,
alcohol?
that's a really good question.
So there is a per se level of marijuana, but we're just getting into that. So we're just starting and I just know this because I know one of the guys in Columbus that's doing these schools. But we're just getting into like green labs to and there is a per se level of marijuana. Yes, to answer your question, there is. But that comes through a urine test or a blood test. So there's a per se level for that.
It's a little bit foggier than alcohol. Alcohol is pretty easy.
So scientific, and there are so many small clues that somebody who is high on marijuana that exhibits that's different than alcohol. Because we know how to arrest alcohol impaired drivers all day long.
Sure.
It's the other stuff. They're mixing drugs and all that.
Oh God, I can't even imagine.
And I could talk for hours about this because I worked midnights for so long. It's
Oh,
so interesting.
honey.
Yeah. It's so interesting, the stuff that we're doing. But it's coming out, and it's probably out west now. There are tests that you can take if you scrape somebody's tongue, that the results will come out on your like a portable breath test machine. The results will come right then. So we'll be able to know pretty quickly what you're under the influence of just by swabbing your tongue.
All right. So don't do that either.
Don't do that.
It's bad.
Yeah. So it's illegal to have heroin. You can't have heroin and drive.
No, don't. You don't have. There is no heroin card.
No, there is no
You may
heroin
think
card.
there is, but there's not.
So that's the easiest way to explain it. There's just impairment. You can possess medical marijuana now. You can possess a bottle of beer, but you can't drive on either one impaired.
Right. So, I mean, the good thing about someone, I guess if they're high, they're probably driving 10 down the
and they're easy to find. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. So just easier to just do it at home and
do your thing. Do what's legal.
Yeah, that's right.
Make their job easy.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you like to just have to sit around and do nothing? That would be fantastic.
Then we wouldn't get funded anymore. We gotta have something.
No,
we just got to be a knucklehead every once in a while.
Well, the good news is, yes, there's always going to be knuckleheads out there, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. But we deal with, for the most part, she kind of said it earlier. We deal with people, good, positive interactions most of the time anyway.
Yes.
Sometimes we're dealing with people on the worst day of their lives. That's when we come into contact with some people. But most of the time it's positive interactions, and they're posting on Twitter or Facebook or whatever those things are anymore.
Well, and I think I mentioned this the last time, too, where there have been a couple of times where I've been stranded alongside the road and, flat tire, run out of gas. I've never run out of gas. I was with someone that ran out of gas. But those are the things that I think are thankless for you all that you do. I remember one time Jamie was pulling a trailer. I was following him with my car, and his truck broke down on the highway. Well, luckily my car had a hitch as well, so we just pulled over and switched vehicles real quick. But a trooper stopped, and she was like, "Hey, do you need anything?" And we're like, "No, we're just really embarrassed." And she was like, "Okay, as long as you don't need anything, and you have a flat tire, they help change tires. I'm sure you've done that numerous times. Run out of gas, you can help with that." So, I think that those are thankless things that you all do. So thank you for that, because the whole thing is not just about speeding tickets.
No, it's
not at all. It's basically promoting the safety of the highway. And if I'm sure there's all kind of crazy things that have happened along the highway that, people pulled over for or whatever. So, people deliver babies alongside the highway, like all kinds of crazy stuff.
That's one thing I never want to do. I never want to do that.
Please do not.
There were young guys at Chillicothe. They had just graduated the academy, and there were two of them that came out, and they hadn't been out on their own very long, and they delivered a baby like really close to the hospital. She just couldn't make it anymore. And, I never want to do that.
That would be so exciting but terrifying all at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh man, no way.
Scare me to death.
Are those things you actually learn in the academy? Do they teach you a little bit of that kind of stuff?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Basic first aid.
Yeah.
But the 911 operators, they could talk you through that if we needed to on the side of the road. We could just call 911 and say, "Okay, what do I do next?" Put them on speakerphone, and Dad's probably already on 911 saying, "Hey, I need help."
Well, no, he's passed out alongside the road.
Yeah, that's right. No,
Just call a female trooper and she'll come take care of the
Yeah, because
situation.
I don't think it would phase me.
Because the guys are all going to be passed out alongside the road somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that call.
I
That's
never-
fine.
Just call the girls. All the women in, we'll take care of it.
And I'll stop traffic. So you
Yeah.
guys can do that.
But no, I think that's what you guys do is amazing. And it sounds like, there's something for everybody within the State Highway Patrol. So whether you want to be a dispatcher or, what are the qualifications for some of those jobs within the post that would not be just being a trooper?
High school diploma.
Yes.
High school diploma and then over 20 years old. Right? Well, 18.
For trooper, yes. So the process for trooper, yes. So you could apply for the patrol when you're around 19 years old. But like we were saying, before you can graduate and carry your weapon, you have to be 21 years old.
Okay.
But now,
Yeah.
so we're bringing it back. So years ago, when I came through the academy, there was a guy that I went through with. He was a dispatcher, a cadet dispatcher. So he was waiting for, I forget what it was, but he trained him. He was trained to be a dispatcher, and he was dispatching for several years, and then it was his time to go join the academy. So then he came in as a cadet. So there are
Okay.
cadet dispatcher positions when you're waiting for a class to open or you're waiting to turn 21.
What a good way to
Oh,
get your
yeah.
feet, wet and just know the ins and outs already.
He knew a lot
it gives
more.
you a huge advantage.
Yeah, he
It
helped us a
would.
lot. He was a big asset to that whole class.
That program went away for a few years, but we are bringing it back. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And go ahead.
No, and we also have a college internship program as well.
What?
Yeah. So
Oh.
if you're in college and you're are getting a degree in law enforcement technology, I think is a big one. Is that what? Yeah, Chillicothe
justice.
has that. Criminal justice degrees, any of those.
Wonderful.
And you can learn all this on our website, the Ohio State Highway Patrol. And I don't know, my kids literally like a year ago showed me how to use these QR codes. But if you just Google Ohio State Highway Patrol, it'll take you right to our website.
Yeah, we have the link to the recruitment page in the comments.
Awesome.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Okay. Very, very good.
Hey, we got a question here, and
Yeah.
this kind of ties in with what we were talking to Sheriff Frazier about, the new concealed carry license. What is the proper protocol for if you're pulled over and you have weapons in the car?
So there are a lot of in and outs with that, right? So
Because things just changed.
They just changed, and I think that was it the 13th. It all changed for sure. He probably gave you a lot more insight than I'm able to because I haven't had a chance to just sit down and read through it.
He said
And
it's 33 pages
33.
of lawyerese that
Right.
makes no sense. It took him forever to decipher it.
So the easiest thing to do is just let us know, and you don't have to, but just we're gonna see it. If you're carrying it on you, we're gonna see it. Just don't reach for it, don't touch it, because most of the time we're dealing with traffic stops, right? We have to expect everybody that we stop to be armed until they're not, right?
Right.
So we have maybe a 2-second or 2-minute interaction with you. So if we see a weapon, we're going to address it. We're going to don't touch it. Just leave it alone, and we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
The easiest thing to do is just not have it in your hands, right? If you got it in your car, keep your hands on the steering wheel. Let us know you have a weapon if you're worried about it. If it's hidden, if there's somewhere where we wouldn't be able to see it anyway, where we wouldn't deal with it, we wouldn't know it's there. I tell you, when we run plates around here, I bet 70% of the motorists we deal with have a CCW permit, and it comes back with their license plates anyway. So,
well, and we were talking with Sheriff Frazier about that. So for some reason, I don't know, we've passed this law where you don't have to have the class, but in my opinion, you should have to have the class, because if you don't, how do you know what laws you're
Right.
supposed to follow if no one's told you the rules?
right.
So it's
So I had
kind
the
of
opportunity.
strange.
There was a man that was at a restaurant, but he was at the bar, sitting at the bar at lunchtime, and he was drinking a beer, and he had a gun on his hip.
Uh-oh.
So
That's a no-no.
So yeah, just not know. You should know that, right? If you
Big
took that
time.
class, so yeah, so just things like that. That's what I'm afraid of. People that and open carries never. You could do that before. You could always open carry to where everybody can see it. Now the concealment is just so different, and it didn't make our jobs a lot harder. We just have to be more aware.
More aware.
Yeah.
Sure.
So and then I didn't bring any of that with me, but there's so many requirements or disqualifiers from being able to have a gun. for people, a felon. If there's so many disqualifiers for people to be.
And that's so new. I had in-service training last week, and our lawyer for the patrol was there talking about it, and he said there's still a lot of kind of loose ends and things to tie up. So there'll just be, we're just gonna have to learn over the next few months.
Sure. The main thing is just don't be stupid. That's the way I look at it. Like, just don't be dumb.
Can you write that down? We'll spread that word. Sounds
Do
so
the
easy.
right thing.
Yes.
So, okay, here's one for you. Say I'm driving down the road and Jen's not paying attention and Jen's going 70 in the 60 and Trooper Hutton pulls me over because that's what she does. And I'm a dum-dum. And so what would you want Jen to do when I pull over? What would be
Just a regular traffic stop? You're not talking about with the firearm.
Yeah, not with the firearm. Like what would be a trooper's best scenario as far as like where your hands go? Do you reach for your license and your registration? Like, what do you do?
So I prefer, but most people don't do it, but I prefer that you just keep your hands on the steering wheel.
Makes sense.
And then when I ask for those things, then you can retrieve them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Yes.
So again, right, we're trying to slow you down on the road. We want to slow you down in your car. Don't be jumping around, reaching for stuff because you're probably not even thinking about it being looking suspicious. But if somebody reaches fast, it's kind of like, oh, slow down.
Wait, what are they reaching
Slow
for?
down, bud. Right. And they're probably just reaching for their wallet,
for their purse or
right.
something.
But just that real quick movement, kind of like gets us on edge.
Yeah.
Or even like digging under the seat. It just looks suspicious.
Right.
So the easiest thing is, like she said, just be slow. Let me see where your hands are.
Okay.
Give me your license. Just slow, one thing at a time. And once we're stopped, there's no reason to rush it. Then, right? We're going to be here for a couple minutes, whether it's just giving you a warning or we're going to write you a citation. We're going to be here for a couple minutes, so let's slow down and we do good. I mean, there's stuff that she sees and we see on a traffic stop inside of a car that you've probably forgot you have in your car. I mean, I can see. And it's funny that we've been trained so well and we do this so often that we see stuff in a split second inside of that car that most people take for granted that they forgot was in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's I mean,
that's
just
your
repetition.
training. Yeah.
Just the repetition, doing it so many times.
But most of the cars I stop, no one knows where their registration and insurance are. We always have our license for the most part.
It's called the glove compartment. Just stuff it in there.
They're
and
digging through stuff, expired stuff, tons of paperwork, and it's going to be a minute. But
No,
And
I
so
will have to say-
insurance on the phone is fine now
Yes.
too. If you can pull up because most of them are an app, so then you pull up your insurance card. As long as we see an expiration date past today, you got insurance.
Mm-hmm.
If it expires tomorrow, we're not dealing with tomorrow. We're dealing with right now, and you got your app up, and it shows it expires later.
I got
We're good on insurance.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And well, if you're like me, you get the new insurance card and you throw it in the glove compartment on top of the 42 other insurance cards that you've had. You don't have
Typical.
no idea
All the
which
time. All the time.
That's everybody.
14 registrations in there because I've
Yeah.
had my car for however many years.
I usually hand them back and say, just get rid of these and keep these.
Like they're handing you like handfuls.
Yes. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'll say that. I can find it quicker than you can, so I'll just take it for you.
You
I look
throw
at this
these
all
away.
day, every day.
But no, that makes sense. So the things you need to have in your car would be obviously your license would be fantastic, and your registration and insurance cards.
Yes. But like you said, you can pull the insurance card up on your phone. Often people don't have their current insurance card, so I'll just say, while I'm back here taking care of your ticket, you pull that up on your app and I'll check it when I come back. So
Okay,
yeah, it's fine.
that makes sense. All right, very good. All right, well, you guys are just full of all kind of great information
Yeah, this has
today.
been fun.
This is so
And
fun.
We're
to have
so
you all
excited
in.
for this open house. Her and I started talking about
Yes.
it. I forget back
About
in
3 months
February.
ago,
Yeah,
so it's been a while.
we've been planning, and we'll have some trinkets to give out. We forgot to talk about that.
What do you have? You have free stuff?
Free
We
stuff.
love free
Yeah.
stuff, don't we, James?
Let's have some
People
free
love some
I
free
know I
stuff.
do.
Yeah.
So we have magnets. Those magnets, drive sober, get pulled over. Magnets. Look twice for motors. I've got a bunch of that stuff.
Okay.
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be pretty exciting. Hopefully, the community comes out just to say hi, or file out or put in a recruitment card. Get you in the line to become a trooper.
Except for us, James, because they so rudely
Yeah.
told us we're too old.
I know, and I'm like at the very, very edge, just
He's on the
right
cusp.
at 34. So
Well, you should,
Aw,
you
man.
should do
just
good.
too late, just barely missing it, I guess.
Me, not on the cusp.
I remember when I was
Jen's
34.
29.
Yes, I know. You know what's so funny is I can remember like joking with people that I was 29 and they go, and now I say 39 and it's, and it's like not funny anymore.
Right. I quit
Why
counting.
are you laughing at me?
I quit counting. Yeah.
Like 39 should not be that unreasonable.
Right.
Yeah.
Jerks.
Funny.
So I don't think I missed anything that I wanted to, or that we wanted to talk about today. Just 100 Deadly Days of Summer. I mean, that's something that we talk about every year.
And that is for many number of reasons, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, here, I got a question for you guys, since you're kind of winding up. So a lot of people are going on vacations right now. What are some like safety things that people should keep in mind for those like longer drives than what they're used
Good
to?
question.
So I was thinking about that when she was saying what to have in your car. You know, it's always good to have extra water in your car, right?
Yes.
And if you know what the direction you're going, the one thing that we deal with some here is people that have a flat tire, get broke down on the side of the road. They don't know, they don't have a mechanic, or they don't know who the local shops are to call, or they don't even have our number. You know, if you call the local post wherever you are, they'll be able to hook you up and give you the number to the closest record yard or the closest shop to be able to help you take care of something that's bad. Actually, we just had a woman from Michigan probably a month ago, I guess. She pulled into the parking lot with a flat tire. She has a newer car, and she didn't have a spare. She had some foam you can put in there, but she didn't have a spare.
Someone was telling me that's a thing, that new cars don't have spare tires.
My wife's car doesn't have a spare tire.
That is
She has foam.
unbelievable to me.
So, yeah, I would have never thought of that. So we were getting ready to help her change her tire because she didn't know what to do, and she's at the post. Well, we couldn't do anything. So we loaded her up and took her down to the local tire shop, and he plugged it, and we took care of it that way. That was pretty rare, but stuff like that people don't think about. Having a backup plan for emergencies, or knowing local hotels if you're broke down in a town for a while. Having some sort of plan for your trip. And those used to be AAA Triptychs used to give you that stuff.
Yeah.
Remember those?
Yeah, I do.
So yeah, but you can Google all that stuff yourself now before you take off.
Yeah, and that's very important. And whether you're AAA or not AAA or whatever, just having like I know I always just pack like a kit. So have water, have some first aid stuff in the kit. Like I have a dog kit for Marley, and like I have like little wraps in case she would cut her paw or something. And, like just have that stuff in the vehicle when you take off. But there's been nightmare stories about, like, I think they had that in Washington D.C. or something not too long ago, or Virginia, where it snowed and everyone they closed down the highway and people were stuck there for like 12 hours.
Might have been Virginia. I think I did hear about it. Yeah.
That happens every time it snows in Atlanta.
A little bit of snow shuts that down.
But, you're thinking about, like, I know that they were interviewing people that had dogs in their car and, kids in the car and whatever. So make sure you pack like some granola bars and some water and just silly things like that.
Blankets, lights.
Like, yeah, all of
batteries,
that. You can just make a little kit. It won't take more than this much room in your trunk, but boy, it can make a difference.
Absolutely. So those are some things I think about, just because the stuff that we've ran into and tried to help people through getting a tire fixed or whatever.
For sure.
Just having some sort of plan before you take off.
That makes total sense. Phone charger.
Hey, you know how hard it is to find an Atlas right now? We went to Florida about 5
No,
years ago.
I know what an Atlas is. What I was thinking is there's no one under the age of, like 30 that knows what an Atlas is.
We went to Orlando a few years ago, and it was hard to find an Atlas because we wanted to, we weren't on a hurry back. We wanted to, see some things before we got home, and you couldn't find an Atlas.
I could see that.
That took a while.
Every once in a while, I'll still pull somebody over with one. And I'll be like, let me look at that.
I know, let me see that. Do you have a triptych from 1982?
They've got some printed out MapQuest directions.
That's how they do it.
I mean, I can remember when that was high tech. We were like, woo!
You got to go next door to use their printer.
Yeah.
That was really distracted driving, though, back in the day with the Atlas and the MapQuest.
Yeah, especially if you didn't have a navigator.
Navigator.
You're like flipping through this ringed binder thing trying to find
my exit's coming up. Yes.
Yeah. Oh God. And the going to Myrtle Beach thing, I can remember my college roommate and I doing that, and like there was road construction. And so we're like following this triptych. Well, we got back then there was a detour. You're like, I don't know.
Yes.
We were two stupid girls. And I remember we stopped at a gas station. They're like, dude, you just drove 45 miles in the wrong direction. And we're like crying. And I just want to go home. So yeah. Phones are a lot better for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Plus that makes it less distracted.
Sure.
When that lady tells you where to turn, it's helpful.
As long as you get it into the phone before you take
Yes,
off.
don't be like searching through it while you're driving. But all right, well, you guys, thank you so much
So
for
great
coming
again.
in
Thank you.
today. Come back and see us anytime. This is so much fun, and don't forget Jackson Post of the Highway Patrol having an open house this coming Friday, June 24th, noon to 5. And if you don't know where it is, I don't know how you wouldn't know where it is, but they are on Chillicothe Pike here in Jackson. So the old way to Chillicothe.
Yeah.
Yeah, to pass. Used to have a lot more traffic go through there
I don't know. I don't think I was ever down here before.
I wasn't either.
before the bypass.
No.
Yeah. That was a
And
few
if I
years
did
ago.
come, I grew up in Waverly. We would come the back direction,
Oh.
like Beaver Pike, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
Yep, that's how you would have come in. So yeah, very good. All right, well, thank you so much. And if anybody has any questions, could they call out to the post and ask? or-
Absolutely. Or get online and just go to the Highway Patrol's website.
Okay.
It'll take you, there's a link to the local post, and it'll give you the phone number to it. But if you don't have it, it's 740-286-4141.
Yeah, it's easy to remember. 4141.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's easy.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you all for coming
Thank you
in.
so much for having us.
Come back and see us anytime that you are around the area, and we can tell everybody what's going on.
hopefully I don't have another story about a crazy car I pulled or a crazy incident.
A bicycle.
I'm getting too old for that.
I mean, the good news is that it was a bicycle that was
Right.
your craziest, so we like that a lot. Not like someone riding a cow or something.
Right.
All right. Well, James, is there anything else we need to do today?
I think we did it.
All right. It's going to be hot outside. That's all I have to tell you. Be very, very careful. Check on your pets. Check on your loved ones. Check on your friends and family. If they don't have some air conditioning, it's going to be a rough one. So
That's right.
this week even.
Yeah.
Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
and thanks so much for watching. And we'll be right back here tomorrow with our friends from the D. Merrill Davis Choir. So that'll be fun to talk about something going on this weekend. So thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
you.
Bye-bye.